gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
Literally, I'm sitting at home screaming at the TV because you don't sell any fucking tickets.
Right. That's me. That's me. Like, I'm screaming out there, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's me for real. Oh my God.
Nobody is going to women's soccer games. You're playing in a 20,000 seat arena. 1,500 people show up. That's not a good night. The promoter lost his fucking ass on that gig.
Oh God. Lord.
I'm not saying no professional female athletes, Serena Williams, the women in the UFC, you know, but nobody's watching your fucking sport. And then you're going to come and you're going to get mad at fucking men. They keep doing that shit.
Right.
Why are you yelling at us? It's not our fucking job. It's not my fucking job.
Exactly. Where is all this female solidarity when it comes to the WNBA and female sports? They're nowhere to be fucking found. I'm telling you this right now because if I go to a basketball game for my alma mater, University of Georgia, if you go to the basketball games, I mean, it's hard enough for the men to fill the stands. Let's keep it a buck, unless we're playing somebody like Kentucky or, you know, another good team in the SEC, Florida or something. It's hard enough for the men to fill the stands, but when the women are playing, it's crickets.
To give a fuck about women's soccer, okay? I have men's sport to pay attention to. It's your bullshit, right?
Right.
Dude, look at the WNBA. Dude, nobody in the WNBA got COVID. Nobody. They have been playing in front of 300 to 400 people a night for a quarter of a century. Not to mention, it's a male-subsidized league. We gave you a fucking league.
Right.
None of you showed up. Where are all the feminists?
Exactly.
That place should be packed with feminists. Faces painted, wearing jerseys, flashing their titties. Going.
Exactly. You never see that. But when the men win the championship, when men win the World Cup, when men win any major event when it comes to sports, the NBA championship, the Super Bowl, who's at the parades flashing their tits? Women. And they don't do that for female sports at all.
Fucking nuts, like the guys do in the upper deck with their big beard titties. Am I on the Jumbotron?
And I'm gonna tell you what. If you go to a WNBA game, you're going to see men there mostly. It's going to be mostly men and little kids in the stands because men want their kids to be exposed to sports. So they bring their kids to any sporting event that they can, as many as they can. And, you know, the WNBA tickets are pretty cheap. I saw somebody in the chat say they got floor tickets for $25. There's no demand for this sport. There's no demand. Nobody wants to watch them but men and their kids. Okay?
Am I doing it? Yeah. You didn't. None of you went to the fucking games. None of you. You failed them.
Yep.
Not me.
Yep.
Women failed the WNBA. Ladies, name your top 5 all-time WNBA players of all time. Come on.
And I can do that. Now, a lot of it is based off of appearance. Let's go Skylar Diggins, Candace Parker. Who else they got? I don't know. Honestly, my brain farted at 2. Come on, chat, help me out. We got Skylar Diggins, we got Candace Parker, we got, obviously Brittney Griner. Okay. I like the Dial sisters or the Gonzalez sisters or Dial, I don't know. But they were like these twins who played for Kansas, and I think they ended up like just stopping and becoming like booty models or some shit. But they were hot, but they never went to the WNBA. God. Oh, Lisa Leslie. Yeah, but she's old school. She's old school. I mean, she was like 20, 30 years ago, something. I mean, it's hard, but ask a woman to name 5 NBA players. Oh, she boom, 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 boom. A nigga in the chat said Reggie Miller's sister. I'm dead.
Listen, name 5 WNBA teams. Name the WNBA team in your fucking city. You can't do it.
Right. I think ours is Atlanta Dream. Atlanta Dream. Anyone?
You don't give a fuck about them. They play night in and night out in front of nobody. It's a fucking tragedy. Right? And then meanwhile, God. You look at the Kardashians.
Right.
They're making billions.
Right.
You look at those Real Housewife shows. They're making money hand over fist.
What did I say? They need to stop. Honestly, you know, respect to all my LGBT sisters out here. But if y'all really want people to pull up, you're going to have to make the league look sexy. I don't know if the dykes should wear strap-ons or if the straight women should play in a bra or something, but you got to turn the league sexy. Every woman who identifies as a woman needs to be wearing a bra, straight up. Straight up. You want the league to make money? This is how you do it. Make it sexy. Just get a whole bunch of random OnlyFans girls, lower the goals like 5 feet, and let's just watch like a fucking dunk fest with tits and all that. That's the only way you're going to sell tickets. I'm just telling you that right now. That's the reality. That is the reality, okay? It sounds degrading. It sounds objectifying, but you want money, or do you just want to keep playing in the league that's being subsidized by the men?
Because that's what women are watching. The money listens. You don't want to watch this shit? You watch this shit? They just shoot it over there, drowning these whores in money. Purses, and shoes, and Botox. It's just raining. It's raining money. Yeah. So, the money listens. You'd rather watch that shit. Real Housewives, bunch of women just tearing each other down. Well, maybe that's why your husband left you. Maybe that's why your husband left. That's why you can't have kids, bitch. That's why your ass is as flat as your titties, bitch. Right?
Ooh.
That's
Facts.
the message you sent. We would rather watch that
than
see a bunch of women come together as a team.
Exactly. Why does Basketball Wives make more than the WNBA? No! Basketball Wives makes more than the WNBA. That's disgraceful. Y'all women, and y'all are 80% of the consumer base, and y'all ain't spending y'all money on other women. Lord have mercy.
And try to achieve a common goal. We would rather watch them actually fucking destroy each other. Yeah. No. And then in the end, you come back and you fucking yell at guys. Like, It's like, all right, so let me get this straight. I have to buy you a drink, stop the axe murderer from coming through the fucking window, and I have to watch WNBA games for you? Like, when are you going to pick up your end of the couch?
Right. Exactly. I mean, he explained it perfectly. Shout out to Romer Dubois with the $10 super trap. He says, have them play in Victoria's Secret lingerie.
Oh, say less.
Yep, but what you will have to do, you will have to set a physical attractiveness standard. Okay. You will have to set that standard, because you're gonna have to make the league look sexy. Okay. The WNBA, the only way they're gonna sell tickets is if the WNBA looks like a goddamn Hooters waiting lobby. That's the only way they're gonna sell tickets. If it looks like Twin Peaks in that motherfucker, that's the only way. Shout out to Baron Darkonen with the $9.99 super.
Oh, say less.
All right, so woo. Brittney Griner is in deep doo-doo. Let us keep breaking it down. This is the prison swap that is allegedly on the table to free Britt Brat. Okay, so let's see what they're talking about.
We begin with breaking news. CNN has exclusively learned that Russia responded to the prisoner swap offer for the release of 2 Americans in Russian prisons. Sources say now that Russia requested a colonel convicted of murder and in German custody be added along with this infamous arms dealer in exchange for former WNBA star Brittney Griner.
Wow.
And Paul Whelan.
So we're going to trade a convicted murderer and an arms dealer for Brittney Griner.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
I mean, Trump would have never made this deal. He would have just said, give me her back. I don't care. Give me the bitch back. She needs to be on American soil like right now, like yesterday. Like that shit would not go down.
Have a team of correspondents covering these breaking developments. Fred Pleitkin is in Moscow for us, but let's start with Natasha Bertrand, who is breaking this exclusive. Natasha, what have you learned?
Yeah, Allison. So what we've learned is that in response to the Russian proposal to trade that arms dealer Victor Bout for the 2 Americans detained in Russia, Paul Whelan and Brittney Griner, the Russians actually put forward their own request. And they said, well, we don't want just Victor Bout. We also want this guy named Vadim Krosikov, who was convicted in Germany in just last year, about 7 months ago in December of 2021.
Wow. So Russia is even getting another country involved. They're getting Germany involved and asking the Germans to release. Wow. They said, we're finna cash in all our chips on this one. We're going all in. We want somebody back from your country and one of your allies' countries. Chess, not checkers, ladies and gentlemen.
For murdering in broad daylight a Chechen fighter, and the Germans sentenced him to life in prison. So the Russians, in response to this proposal, submitted this kind of back channel request to the Americans. It was done through an FSB back channel. The FSB, of course, is the main security service for the Russians. And through this back channel, it was very informal. They said that they wanted this person to be included in the swap along with Victor Bout. Now, the U.S. did not take this request very seriously. It was very problematic for a number of reasons. Chief among them is that this guy, Krosikov, he is still in German custody. So the United States would in fact have to then use its influence to try to get him released from German custody to include him in this prisoner swap. But other than that, it was not viewed by the U.S. to be a serious counter proposal to what the U.S. had said is a very substantive proposal, which is to trade Bout for these 2 Americans. Now, it remains to be seen whether the Russians have put forward or will put forward any other request. But this just shows, this underscores that the Russians did in fact engage with the U.S.'s proposal. Now, whether or not the Americans view that as substantive, that's another question.
Fred, you're sharing the byline on this exclusive reporting. The U.S. says that it's not a serious proposal. Has it even gone far enough that Germany has responded?
Well, the Germans certainly did at least deal with it to a certain extent. And I think one of the things that shows just how serious the administration right now is about trying to get this prisoner swap to happen, about trying to get Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan out of Russian custody, is that there were quiet inquiries by the U.S. to the German government. We have that from a senior German government source saying this was on a fairly low level, and the Germans also never really believed that it was a real strong proposal or one to be taken seriously. It was merely an inquiry. Would the Germans possibly be willing to consider that? Now, the Germans say that they never really talked about this proposal on a higher level. It never reached the top levels of German government, but certainly they did receive inquiries from the U.S. about Krasikov. However, he is a very, very important prisoner to the Germans. And again, it was something that wasn't broadly discussed in the German government. However, the U.S. did make that inquiry, Victor.
Wow, look at all the bullshit that Brittney Griner has strummed up. One geeked up ass LGBT sister can cause this whole geopolitical nightmare. Wow, man, this is history in the making. Shout out to Romer Dubois with the $5 super trap. He says they want to trade Brittney the pawn for a queen and a damn rook.
Oh, say less.
Yes, absolutely. Nice chess reference. I hope you guys caught on to that.
Fred, tell us more about Vadim Krasikov and why he is so important. So he was a colonel, and what else?
Yeah. Well, he was a colonel in the FSB, in the intelligence service of the Russians, and he is obviously the one who the German court convicted of killing that former Chechen fighter in Berlin in broad daylight in 2019. And the reason why this is so important for the Germans is because
run that shit. Hold on.
Of killing that for the Well, he was a colonel in the FSB, in the intelligence service of the Russians, and he is obviously the one who the German court convicted of killing that former Chechen fighter in Berlin in broad daylight.
So he murdered a Chechen fighter in Berlin in broad daylight. These European gremlins are on demon time.
In 2019. And the reason why this is so important for the Germans is because the court in Germany that dealt with this case clearly stated that this was a murder that was called for by the Russian Federation, that was organized by Russia's state security services and essentially led by Russia's state security service. It was something that caused a huge spat between the Russian government and the German government. Several Russian diplomats were expelled. And one of the other things that's really important also is not only that the Germans said, look, this is a complete breach of German sovereignty. And just for that reason, obviously, Krasikov is a very important prisoner to the Germans. But it also happened right after a change of government in Germany as well. It was when Angela Merkel left office. The conviction was after Angela Merkel left office and the Schulz government came into office. Right after that is when this conviction happened. And the new German government showed that it wanted to be tougher on Russia, immediately expelled Russian diplomats. And so therefore, Krasikov is a very, very important prisoner that the Germans are holding. And certainly there's absolutely no considerations, I'm told right now, in Berlin to release Krasikov.
So, Natasha, U.S. Secretary.
So that deal isn't going through.
State Tony Blinken spoke with his Russian counterpart today, but this was not the vehicle for that offer. How did the Russians respond and ask for this additional trade?
Correct, Victor. And what we're told is,
I mean, they talking about it like they trading NBA players or some shit. It's a WNBA player. She don't get no max contract.
that the Russians communicated this through a back channel. Essentially, FSB officers reached out to the United States through these channels to float the possibility that they would potentially get Krasikov back. They essentially told the United States, look, if you're offering boot, then we want Krasikov. And this was not viewed by the U.S. as a serious proposal because, again, it was not proposed at the Lavrov-Blinken level. It was proposed at lower levels, but it did give the U.S. an idea of the kind of proposal and the kind of swap that Russia might be looking for. And importantly, it also indicated to the United States that Russia might not actually be serious about this swap at all because it was just not viewed as something that the U.S. and Germany would actually be willing to do. It was
so they was just doing that as a joke. They just was testing the water. They ain't finna let Brittney grow. Wait, look. They ain't finna let her go. Hey, we'll see you in 2031, Brittney.
Viewed more by the U.S. government as an attempt to buy time, as an attempt to stall until the trial of Brittney Griner is over, and then the Russians feel that they can come to the table. So all of this was viewed by the United States really as a game that the Russians were playing. They don't view it as serious. But it remains to be seen, of course, whether the Russians are going to ask for another person in addition to boot on a more formal level, because, of course, the U.S. is asking for two people of its own back.
Okay, Natasha Bertrand, Fred Pleitgen, thank you very much for all of that breaking news.
gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.